11 stems. That is what I always cut. Not 10, not 12. 11 roses every Sunday for the altar for 41 years. I could not tell you why 11. The vase just seemed to like it that way, and once a thing works, you do not go asking it questions. My sister Ruth used to say it should be a dozen for symmetry, and we argued about that every Christmas for years. Ruth, dozen. Me, 11. Neither of us budging. She has been gone 11 years now herself, which I only just noticed, saying it out loud. 11 years, 11 roses. I do not know what to do with that, so I will just leave it sitting there. 93 years old. My name is Opal, though I do not believe anyone at that church has called me Opal Greer since the Ford administration. To most of them, I was just the flower lady. Did not mind it. You let people call you whatever, long as they let you keep doing the thing. I carry a pair of shears in my pocketbook. Little folding ones fit right next to my glasses case. People see them and laugh, ask what on earth I need garden shears for at the grocery store. I tell them you never know. That is not really the reason. The real reason I do not say out loud, because it sounds foolish, but I will get to it. I started doing the altar flowers in 1983. My Aunt Pauline got me into it, not my husband's people, mine, her side of the family. She had this way of holding a rose stem like it was a sentence she had not finished yet. She showed me how to cut at an angle so the water climbs better, showed me how to strip the lower leaves so they do not rot in the vase. Little things. Nobody teaches you a thing like that anymore. They just buy a bouquet at the supermarket, already wrapped in plastic, already dying. I remember the first time she let me cut on my own. No supervising, nothing. There was a wedding that Saturday, not mine, a cousin's. I will not say whose because that branch of the family still gets touchy about it. And Pauline had a hip flare-up that morning and called me at 6 and said, "You are going to have to do the church on your own. I have laid it all out for you. Do not panic." I panicked the entire drive over. Cut my thumb twice. Used the whole roll of floral tape on one arrangement that probably needed 4 inches of it. Nobody at that wedding ever said a word about the flowers, good or bad, which at the time felt like the worst thing that could happen and now strikes me as about right. Nobody is supposed to notice the flowers. That is the whole job. You are not supposed to be the thing people remember. Anyway, Pauline passed in 86. I kept doing the flowers. Did not feel like a tribute or anything grand like that. Felt more like, well, somebody had to, and my hands already knew how. For 41 years I was up before 6 on a Sunday, out to the side garden where I keep the good roses, the ones nobody else is allowed to cut, my daughter included. Sorry, Carol, but you know it is true. 11 stems, wrapped in wet paper towel, then foil over that, then into the big tote bag with the broken zipper I never bothered to fix. Drove to the church, let myself in the side door with my own key, which the deacon gave me back in 1990 and never asked for again. There is a closet off the fellowship hall. Narrow one. Smells like candle wax and old hymnals, and something underneath that I think is just 40 years of flower water that has gone into the walls. That is where I kept my own clippers, the big ones, the wire cutters, 2 extra vases in case one cracked. My name was on a strip of masking tape on the shelf, just Opal in block letters, gone yellow at the edges. I am telling you all this because I want you to understand it was not a hobby. It was a schedule. You do not realize how much of your week gets built around a thing like that until the thing is not there anymore. My knees had started giving me trouble getting out of the car. Nothing serious, just the kind of stiff that makes a person sit there an extra few seconds with the door open, gathering themselves. My neighbor Howard, who I have known since the Carter administration and who has opinions about everything whether you ask for them or not, started saying, I ought to hand the flowers off to somebody younger before I did something to myself out there alone on a Sunday. I told him I had been doing it for 40 years and had not done anything to myself yet. He said, 40 years just means you are due. I did not love that he said it. I thought about it more than I let on. About 4 months back, a woman named Diane started coming to the early service. Younger, 60s maybe, energetic. Brought a casserole to the potluck that everyone made a fuss over, one of those layered taco ones with the crushed up chips on top. I did not think anything of her. Smiled at her in the pew. She smiled back, had a nice smile, the kind that does not quite reach the eyes, but you do not notice that until later. She started helping with the flowers in March. I welcomed it. My knees are not what they were, and frankly, having a second pair of hands felt like a small mercy. She would hold the vase steady while I cut, ask questions about the angle of the stem. I showed her Pauline's trick, the one about the leaves. Felt good teaching it, felt like passing something along, instead of just doing it alone forever. Here is the part I get sidetracked on. Every time I tell this, I start somewhere different. Let me just say it plain. On a Sunday near the end of April, I drove to the church same as always. 11 roses, wet paper towel, foil, the tote bag with the broken zipper. Parked in my usual spot, which is not reserved. No single person's spot is reserved, but everybody knew it was mine the way everybody knows things without a sign saying so. I went in the side door. My key still worked. They had not changed the locks. I want to be fair about that. Nobody changed the locks. But the closet door was already open, and the flowers were already in the vases, already on the altar. Big white arrangement, lilies mostly, very full, already finished. Somebody had already done it. I stood in the doorway of that closet for a second, not understanding what I was looking at. The way you stand in a room you have walked into 10,000 times and suddenly nothing is where it should be. The wire cutters were back on their hook, but turned the wrong way, handle facing in instead of out, the way I never would have left them. Small thing. I noticed it anyway. I notice everything in there. It is the one room in the world I know with my eyes shut. There was a card taped to the closet shelf right over where my masking tape used to say Opal. Printed, not handwritten. It said, "Thank you so much for your years of dedication to our Altar Flowers ministry. We have got it covered from here. Enjoy your Sundays." Little flower sticker in the corner. Signed, Diane and the Worship Committee. I stood there holding 11 roses nobody had asked for. I want to be honest with you, because what is the point otherwise? I did not say anything. I did not march up to the pastor's office. I did not call a meeting. I did not even take my coat off all the way. I just stood in that little closet with my own key in my pocket and my own roses going soft in my hand, and I read that card maybe 4 times, like it might say something different the 5th time. Then I went and sat in a pew near the back. Not my usual pew. My usual pew is up front, 3rd row, left side. Has been for decades. I sat in the back like a visitor. Service happened around me the way services do. I sang the hymns. I said the responses. I looked at the lilies the whole time and thought, not unkindly, that lilies always look a little embarrassed, the way they hang their heads. Afterward, Diane found me by the coffee table, said, "Did you see the card? I hope it did not come across wrong. We just thought, at your age, it would be nice for you to finally relax a little." She touched my arm when she said it. I do not think she meant a single thing by it cruelly. I think she genuinely believed she was doing me a kindness. I said thank you. I meant it too, in a strange way I still cannot fully explain. I drove home with 11 roses on the passenger seat, still wrapped in their wet paper towel, going warm in the sun through the windshield. I did not cry in the car. I want that on the record, because I know how this kind of story usually goes, and that is not what happened. I just drove, stopped at the light on 5th, same as always, noticed the same crooked stop sign I have noticed for 30 years, the one that has been leaning since that bad ice storm and nobody has ever fixed it. Got home, sat in the kitchen with the roses still in my lap for I do not know how long. Long enough that the ice in my tea melted all the way down and went warm too. I did not tell Carol. She calls every Sunday around 4, regular as anything. And that Sunday she asked how church was, and I said fine, busy, lots of people, which was true, every word of it true, and also not the thing she was asking. She asked about the flowers specifically, actually. She always asks about the flowers. It has become a little ritual between us, her asking and me telling her what I cut that week, and I said, "Oh, somebody else did them this time, light as anything," like it was nothing, like I had had a cold or a scheduling conflict. She said that was nice, that I finally got a break. I said yes, it was nice. Here is the part nobody would believe unless I told them straight. I still carry the shears in my pocketbook. Started the week after. I do not go to that closet anymore. Have not been back in it since. Do not know if my masking tape is even still under there, or if somebody finally peeled it off. But I keep the shears, little folding ones, right next to my glasses case. I started cutting flowers again at home instead, not 11. Just whatever the garden gives me that week, sometimes 3, sometimes 7, no number that means anything. I put them in an old ironstone pitcher, the one with the handle that broke off years ago, on my own kitchen table where I eat my own breakfast, alone, which I have done for years now and never thought twice about until lately. Diane still does the altar flowers. I hear they are very nice. Big, full arrangements. I have not gone back to look closely, not out of spite. I genuinely just do not look that direction anymore when I walk in. I sit in my old pew again now, 3rd row, left side, because nobody told me not to, and that is the strange thing about all of it. Nobody ever told me to stop sitting there, only the one thing. My granddaughter asked me last week why I still bother cutting flowers at all, if nobody is going to see them but me. She asked it kindly, not making fun, just genuinely curious the way young people are curious about old habits, like they are trying to translate something from a language they only half know. I told her, because somebody has to, and my hands already know how. She sat with that a second, turning it over, and then she asked if I missed the church ones, the 11 roses, all that, and I said something I had not planned on saying, which is that I do not actually miss the roses so much as I miss the part where I would cut them at 6 in the morning with nobody watching and nobody needing to be told thank you for it. Just the cutting, just the doing. She did not really understand the answer. That is all right. I am not sure I fully understand it either. Howard still asks me, every so often, if I have handed things off like I should. I tell him I have, in a manner of speaking. I do not explain further, and he does not push it, which is one of the nicer things about Howard, underneath all the opinions. Some Sunday mornings I still wake up before 6 out of habit, and for a few seconds, lying there in the dark, I forget. And then I remember, and then I get up anyway, same as always, and go out to the side garden in my robe while the dew is still on everything, and I cut whatever is blooming that week. 3 stems, 7, whatever the bush feels like giving me. No number that means a single thing, and I put them in that same chipped pitcher on my own kitchen table, and I sit down in my own chair, in my own kitchen, and I drink my tea while it is still hot for once, and nobody asks me for the vase.